Welcome to the VEX Robotics Competition Referee Training videos, designed for both referees and teams to learn from. This is Chapter 5, Pinning and Trapping. The pinning and trapping rules can cause some confusion in the VEX Robotics competition, so we want to clarify them for you. Most of our rules are very cut and dry. However, these rules are somewhat subjective because it's so difficult to simply categorize every type of robot-on-robot interaction. The goal of this video is to give referees and teams a better idea of what exactly pinning and trapping are and what they are not. To start off, let's go over the definitions of pinning and trapping. First, pinning. A robot is considered to be pinning an opposing robot if it is inhibiting the movement of an opponent robot while the opposing robot is in contact with the foam playing surface and another field element. This means you are pinning another robot if you've inhibited their movement and they're in contact with a field element. Next is trapping. A robot is considered to be trapped if an opposing robot has restricted it into a small confined area of the field approximately the size of one foam field tile or less, and has not provided an avenue for escape. This means you are trapping a robot if you've trapped them in a space the size of a tile and they have no way of getting out. So, you don't actually have to be touching a robot to have trapped or pinned them. If they don't have a way out, they're pinned or trapped. But remember, teams always have to try and escape the pin or trap. Simply sitting there while being pinned isn't going to cut it. If you aren't actively seeking a way out, you're no longer being inhibited. It is your job to try and escape the pin or the trap. Now let's look at the corresponding rule, ch5. A robot cannot pin or trap an opposing robot for more than 5 seconds during the driver control period. A pin or trap is officially over once the pinning robot has moved away and the robots are separated by at least 2 feet, or approximately 1 foam field tile. After ending a pin or trap, a robot may not pin or trap the same robot again for a duration of another 5 seconds. If a team does pin the same robot again, the pinning count will resume from where it left off when the pinning robot initially backed off. Minor violations of this rule that do not affect a match will result in a warning. Egregious or match-affecting offenses will result in disqualification. Teams that receive multiple warnings may also receive a disqualification at the head referee's discretion. There's no penalty for pinning during the autonomous period. Wow, that's a lot of information. So let's break down the rule. Point 1. You cannot pin or trap a robot for more than 5 seconds. Referees, you must start the count for pinning or trapping as soon as the action starts. Too many referees wait a couple of seconds before starting, thus turning it from a 5-second period of legal pinning to 7 or 8. Once you start counting your pin or trap, you must do it in a loud and visual way so the pinning team knows that they're doing something wrong. Chances are that once they see and hear you counting, they'll back off. 1, 2, 3. This is a good thing. We'd like warning teams before they get punished. Point 2. A pin is officially over once the offending team moves away by 2 feet, which is basically the space of 1 tile. Also, if you're trying to back away from a pin, but you can't because an opposing robot is blocking you from doing so, this will end the pin count. The team cannot be forced to pin another robot. Remember, we want to punish the right team here. Point 3. Teams may not pin or trap the same robot for more than 5 seconds. This also means, once you end a pin, you cannot re-engage for 5 seconds. If you do so, the referee will resume the count from where it was left off. Referees, be careful with this one. Be vocal with your warnings here, and make sure the pinning team knows that they cannot re-engage for the full 5 seconds. And if they do so, make it clear that you've restarted a count in the middle. Finally, some additional things to consider. If you're pinning or trapping a robot and your robot dies, you are still responsible for ending the pin. You are responsible for your robot's actions once you begin that pin or trap. The same thing goes for the robot being pinned. If your robot dies while being pinned and you no longer are attempting to escape, the pinning count will stop. It would be silly to penalize someone for pinning or trapping a robot that can't move. Remember, pinning and trapping are difficult calls to make, but they are necessary to ensure the teams are allowed to succeed offensively. So we ask referees to be vigilant in looking for pinning or trapping and be quick to make the right call. However, make sure you are very active in warning and counting to the teams to deter them from the pinning or trapping violation. That's all for Chapter 5, but make sure you check out other chapters on various specific refereeing issues.